Your town, your station, your voice. Afternoons on Calon FM. Listen online at calon.fm.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.
Station Screen Show with me, Andy Snowden, here on 105 Calon FM. Right, where can you take your gal tonight?
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. 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 I'm going downtown tonight. What's going on?
Now then, Strictly Ballroom was once a musical, was once a movie, now is a musical, had its UK premiere in London's Piccadilly Theatre back in 2018, and is now heading out on an extensive tour of the UK and Ireland. Currently stars Strictly Come Dancing professional Kevin Clifton as Scott Hastings, and Strictly Come Dancing finalist, came second of course, former Eastender Maisie Smith. Directed and choreographed by Strictly Come Dancing judge Craig Revel Horwood. I think you're guaranteed a good night out, right? And I'm so pleased to say that I am joined on the Stage and Screen Show this afternoon by one of the stars of the show, Mr. Mark Sangster. And Mark, I've got to ask you, my friend, what's life on the road like these days? Is it a good place to be?
Well, you know, it is and it isn't. I mean, it is because after all this time in being in the COVID, the lockdown and everything, it's just so great to be working and keeping busy and having a sense of feeling wanted and needed. And the downside of it is I quite like being at home. I got really used to that. But,
yeah.
But I like that, you know, like driving around or getting on the train and just seeing different places and just hanging out and seeing different things, really.
Well, I was going to ask, are you quite, do you enjoy doing the touristy kind of things? Because some people like to just stay in bed until it's time to go to the theatre, and others like to get out there and have a look around.
Well, I do a bit of both, really. I mean, at the moment, we're still kind of reeling a little bit it's quite an intensive rehearsal schedule. And, you know, 10 till 6, Monday to Saturday, and then Tech Week was just non-stop. And now it was kind of, they're doing understudy rehearsals now, so luckily I'm not involved in that. But yeah, it was starting to settle. The dust's settling now, and we're starting to be able to enjoy these things.
Well, it's Strictly Ballroom, the musical. It's quite a mammoth tour. It's 39 venues, 39
That's right,
towns and cities across the UK. That is quite incredible. Are you in it for the long haul? Is that how it works? Are you signed up for the whole thing?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm here until it finishes in the middle of July next year. So yeah, I'm in it for the whole thing. There's sometimes they do a two-part tour. You know, they finish at Christmas but you usually have to take both ends of the contract anyway. But yes, I'm here. As long as they'll have me, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But, I mean, you'd imagine that most actors would snap up any job, but that does sound quite daunting to be touring around for a whole year. Does it feel daunting, or is it an exciting experience, or how is it?
Well, it did initially, but again, it all harks back to the lockdown and COVID, because everything seemed daunting coming out of it and doing actual in-the-room auditions. But initially with masks on, it felt really, really weird to be in that situation.
Yeah.
With different sets of rules that are changing all the time.
Uh-huh.
And this was the first full-on, proper, long audition I'd had in ages in the room without any restrictions, and it was a nice audition experience. They were very welcoming and they worked intensively with me. Craig Revel was absolutely wonderfully, an absolute darling, I should say. Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, great fun to work with, and he's got his vision. He knows exactly what he wants, but he does allow you to contribute and to try new things, and he's all for that, which is great, very freeing.
But I think we got to a point, didn't we, in the in lockdown, where we couldn't imagine theatres opening again, big groups or anything.
No, I was convinced that was it. That was my last tour ever. Curtains would have been curtains, you know.
Yeah.
And it was very hard to take on board. And I was thinking, what else could I possibly do, really? But in a strange sort of way, when it all started happening again, I mean, just mixing with people in public, I had a little sense of claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
I was going back to London and no one was wearing masks, and there were thousands of people milling around, eating and drinking as if nothing had ever happened. And I was sort of, because I'm in Peterborough now, and it's all very quiet. We've been having 35 years in London, and suddenly being plunged into this double portion of quietness. Well, and then getting back into the bit, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was saying we're pretty much the same, really, because we live in North Wales. We're up here in North Wales, and a small village, and that was us for a year and a half. So to go down to London and be on the underground, where people didn't seem to care,
terrifying.
It's like it didn't exist.
I never really enjoyed the underground anyway. But by the way, before we go on, I've got to say, I'm sure lots of us, and I did enjoy the entertainment from the Snowden household.
Well, we became sort of very minor celebrities at that time, where people were stopping us in the street and all sorts, and walking around houses.
But what a fantastic and kind of gregarious idea that was.
Yeah, and, we thought, like everybody else, we'll do it for 3 weeks and then we'll all be back to work. But we did 150 in the end.
It's a good job. It's a good job that you're all talented. I mean, if the three of you had been duffers, it wouldn't have been much good, would it? But, no, it was great fun.
Well, that's very kind of you to say so. But some days were easier than others, I must admit.
I'm sure.
When we became chickadee partial to a few drinks in the afternoon, as you'd imagine, and sometimes we'd get to about 7 o'clock and think, we haven't rehearsed a song. But
sounds a bit like the old school days of touring.
Yes, absolutely.
Not anymore though.
No.
You've got to be very, very well behaved on tour and on stage and beforehand. And quite rightly too, I think.
Yeah, of course. But I think just going back to your show, Strictly Ballroom, ballroom dancing it's become really popular in the last 20 odd years, and thanks as you say to Strictly Come Dancing, really, and in your show.
Yeah.
But you've got Kevin Clifton, who is a pro from Strictly, probably one of the most famous pros from the show. Maisie Smith, she was a contestant, came second, and as you've just alluded to, directed and choreographed by Craig Revel Horwoods. For Strictly fans, this show it must be like all their Christmases at once, right?
I know. I mean, right at the top of the show, when I'm not going to give away, but. When there is a certain reveal, I mean, the crowd goes nuts, and it kind of took us all like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Did something fall on his head? What's going on? No, it's a wonderful sort of thing to have. I mean, it's sort of, the audience is already on your side, you know what I mean, because of the familiarity.
Yeah.
And that's a nice thing to sort of step out on stage to. And Kevin and Maisie are both lovely and great fun.
Yeah. But, I mean, Maisie, obviously, is an actress. She starred in Eastenders. Yeah. But she's a fantastic dancer, isn't she?
Yes, she's great, and I really like her voice as well. She's got a really, really great sort of pop, modern, and a voice I think would suit some country ballads as well. Not that I'd say that to her in case she took the wrong idea. But I'm not thinking of Kenny Rogers or anything. But she's got a nice sort of great voice for that sort of idiom and pop and sort of country.
Do you get to dance in it?
I get to dance of a sort. I'm a reluctant, and I'm one of these people. I've got whenever I hear 5, 6, 7, 8, I jump into a corner and start shaking. But I have got to contribute. Yes, I do, because I played Doug Hastings, and he's a dark horse. Let's just say, and but that's all part of the show. Which when people come to see it, which they hopefully will. No, the crowds have been actually really good in Southsea and in Bromley. They were great. And we actually had a bomb scare in Sunderland yesterday, so
wow.
That had a minor effect because of one of the car parks was closed, but there's still people came, and it was a fun night out for them and us.
Yeah, it's something different.
But we got paid to do it.
Yeah, but it's of course it's Baz Luhrmann's Strictly Ballroom. It was a 1992 It was a massive movie in 1992.
Yes, yeah.
And is
Cult
this very much like the movie, but as a musical form?
It is, yes. It's very much leaning towards the movie. We wanted to sort of to touch on that and show the sort of really brash side of that kind of circuit, the ballroom dancing circuit. And there are certain things used in the show to sort of like close-ups. So we've got a LED screen at the back where they have close-ups of people's faces and things, just to sort of to highlight and enhance what's happening on stage. And there's quite a big budget for fake tan and orange faces. Yeah. I, on the other hand, don't get that because I'm a little ghostly sort of character.
But for anybody that hasn't seen the show, could you give us a quick synopsis of it?
Well, it's a story about a young guy called Scott Hastings, and he is a ballroom dancer he's like the maverick. He likes to do things his own way, and this always grates with the hierarchy of the ballroom circuit. They're all very precious about what should and shouldn't be done, and he wants to break that mold and do new steps. And he's struggling with it, and his partner deserts him because of it, and so he has to find a new partner, and that's where Fran comes in. She's one of the she's one of the beginners, and kind of who is frowned upon by the amateurs, which is kind of funny in its own way. And she tries to partner up with Scott and persuade him that she can, she's the same thing. She's like a maverick. She does her own steps. And she comes from a sort of Latino family, and there's a sort of struggle between, and there's parallels between the two families, kind of, I suppose you could say, like Romeo and Juliet. But it goes on. It's about his struggle and his fight to bring new life into ballroom dancing. And, without giving too much away, it seems that his father Doug Hastings isn't who he seems to be. Yeah.
Right.
That's all I can say, really. But if you've seen the film, and a lot of people clearly have seen the film, who've come to see it, and I think that reflects how they respond during the evening.
But it's a very interesting concept, and a lot of people are doing it now. I know Footloose has been made from a movie into a musical. It's not like Grease, where it was already a musical.
Yeah. Well, you've got to think that Back to the Future, the musical. I mean, I think, how did they begin to do that?
I know.
It revolves around a flying car. Well, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, of course, but...
yeah.
Is it the new Chitty?
Yeah, wonderful. Hey, it's lovely to speak to you, Mark. Thanks ever so much for that.
Yeah, you too, Andy.
And you've complimented my family, and I've got to repay the compliment because... some people already know, but your son Thomas is Thomas Brodie Sangster. Give him his full title.
Yeah.
He is an astonishing talent, isn't he? Possibly at one point back in the 90s, possibly one of the most famous child actors in the country. He was obviously. Go on.
Despite all the things he's done, he still gets pointed at and says, "You're the kid from Love Actually." Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure. I must get a bit old at times, but. No, I think I'm very, of course I'll be a proud dad, but I am. I mean, I have to say, as an actor, if I wasn't his dad, I'd be thinking, he is an amazing actor, and he's always had this thing where directors said he works with his eyes, and he's got very great stillness about him, and his eyes are very communicative. But I was really excited about the last thing he did, Pistol, where he played Malcolm McLaren.
Yeah,
and he seems to have had a slight history of playing real people. And he did a really good job on Malcolm, I think, and had great fun. And when I saw the premiere of the first two episodes, I wanted to get up and pogo because the whole punk thing came back, and suddenly I felt like I was 16 again. Well,
we sat and watched it. We watched it all. Sort of. We binged it, as the kids say. And I text you and I said, if he doesn't scoop all the awards for this, it's there's something very wrong. It's an awesome performance as Malcolm McLaren in that.
Yes, well, hopefully if he scoops all the awards, maybe he can bung me one as well, just to keep him, keep it clean for him and everything.
But for people who are thinking, who we're talking about, I mean, he played, did you say, Sam in the little drummer boy in Love Actually, and Simon in
I taught him.
You did, you?
I was the drum coach on Love Actually, so I had to teach him how to make those things rock.
Well, I mean, you are a trained musician, right? You play the drums.
I wouldn't say I'm not trained, but I play drums, guitar, keys, and a touch of bass. But no, Thomas is the bass player now. He's a very good bass player now.
Right, and an extraordinary performer, as you say. Hey, listen, Mark, you're coming to Liverpool next week. That's pretty damn close to us.
Yes, we are. Yeah. And then on to Llandudno.
On to Llandudno.
I hope I said that right.
You did indeed. not everybody does, but you did a sterling job. So Liverpool Empire. Let me just give the date: 17th to the 22nd of October. That's next week.
Yes.
And then Llandudno venue Cymru, the 24th to the 29th of October. Strictly Ballroom. Brilliant.
Yes, I love Liverpool doing the Empire, and Llandudno is lovely as well.
Yeah.
Even if I've always been there, it's kind of in the cold days. It's lovely. It's a lovely place to be.
Absolutely.
But just watch out for the seagulls.
Yes, they drop things on you.
They pinch your lunch.
Yes.
They got flick knives.
They fly into the sea and they get cockles
knives.
and then drop them on your head. It's weird.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, that is a worry. Mark, Sangster, it's been a treat to speak to you, mate. Thanks ever so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, Andy.
No.
And I look forward to seeing you at some point, and Janet and the girls.
Lovely. And
and your son. I mean, lovely to meet up at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Actually, it's one of those things in this funny old business, isn't it? You meet people, you make friends, and then you never really see them again. Often.
I know that it's a hard thing to get used to when you're a young actor, but it just happens. It's just a sort of nomadic thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that time that you do have together is if you can accept the fact that you probably won't keep in touch, and you do more because of the social media now. But because all we had back then were payphones, mate.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
If you can accept that, then the time that you spend together is just great fun. It's just episodic, and you accept that.
Yeah. I used to find it weird in London because you always used to bump into somebody that you knew, and you think the size of London, the odds of that is quite remote, really.
The first time I went to London, we went to a little restaurant in a basement somewhere, and I bumped into a girl from my hometown in Banchory, Scotland.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you, pal. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, cheers, Andy. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Mark. You take care. Bye.
Bye.
Ta-da. So there you go, actor Mark Sangster, currently touring the country in Craig Revel Horwoods' production of Strictly Ballroom. I shall give you some local dates in a moment. So Strictly Ballroom is on the road at this present time on a massive 39-date tour of the UK. We'll be playing Liverpool Empire from the 17th to the 22nd of October. That's this coming week. And then from the 24th to the 29th, we'll be playing Llandudno venue Cymru. Go on, support your local theatres, ladies and gentlemen. They won't be there forever if you don't.
Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.